Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? I'm Dan. KGB's there. And Joan Jones is over yonder in the dust-encrusted WTN News Corner. Hello, Joan.
Hello. I like the over yonder part of that.
Did you like the over yonder?
Yeah, I did.
See, that's what happens when I'm...
Southern vibe there?
I'm lacking in sleep. Is I just start...
You become Southern? Southern words?
Exactly what happens. I turn Southern.
Just cowboy hat on in the morning?
It's also what happens when I get drunk. I start...
So are you drunk right now? Is that what you're telling us?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what Dan would be like drunk.
I've seen him.
Have you really?
Yeah.
When?
At the Vineyard.
Oh,
my
right.
God. Yeah.
I forgot about that story.
You're so drunk you forgot.
I was so embarrassed.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Amy was like,
I
it's a
love
good
that
thing
so
you're no
much.
longer the boss because you are just, Did I go in for a hug, Joan?
You did.
Oh, God.
Willingly.
Willingly.
You willingly went in for a
That's
hug.
the sign of the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
It is the sign of the apocalypse. When I start going in for a hug, it's a sign of the apocalypse, and
Yeah.
it's also
That
a
too.
sign to go to
We talk about
HR.
COVID a lot. That 6 feet apart must have been heaven for you.
The joke at the time was, before it got really serious,
Yeah.
the joke at the time was that I've been practicing social distancing since I was like 9.
Yeah.
So, not a problem.
Since you were a baby, when the nurse was holding on to you, were like, I don't like this. No, get away from me.
Yeah,
fact-
that changed with nurses little.
You know, at
years
the
later.
Vineyard, you actually went in for a hug with my husband, too. That's when I knew it was, like, serious.
Did I hug John?
Yeah.
Did he think that was a little weird?
No, he's a hugger. He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was Weaver that got me drunk, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Because I was there was Ken Weaver and his wife Jen and my wife. And Joan just happened to be there too. And I just did a lot of drinking. Anyway, moving right along. So on over the weekend, you've got a story, Joan, about a guy, a dude in Nashville
Yeah.
that had been busted in Mount Juliet.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going on with all of these jackholes coming to where I live, Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
They got to stop. I'm driving over the weekend. Amy and I are driving down Mount Juliet from the north side to the south side.
Yeah.
And I look to my left. There is a guy surrounded by like 6 cops. He is wearing a full-on ski mask.
What?
Yeah. He was driving around in a full-on ski mask, and they pulled him over for, I think his windows were too tinted, but apparently not tinted enough.
What I do on my weekends is none of your business, Dan.
And it turns out, of course, this guy is a bad guy. And he, of course, here's a shocker, had a stolen handgun. The firearm was reportedly taken during a 2017 home burglary in Florida. And this dude was and this was on Saturday,
Okay.
at least the 6th Nashvilleian to be arrested this week as a result of Mount Juliet's law enforcement vigilance when it comes to vehicle issues. So what happens is these bad guys come to Mount Juliet from Nashville, and the cops in Nashville pull them over for whatever it might be. And oftentimes they'll see like a registration tag that is supposed to be for one car, but it's just actually another.
Yeah.
So they pull these guys over, and it turns out, they're bad guys. And they've got priors, and they've got warrants out and the whole thing. And of course, we have LPRs in Mount Juliet as well. So, we're arresting a lot of people
What's happening out there?
in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
All the bad guys are coming from Nashville.
But why? It's so beautiful in Mount Juliet.
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know why. You'd think they'd get the message, although they're not really that smart.
Well, I like they're going up your way and not down my way.
Yeah, you might be a little too far.
That's okay.
It was so weird because I'm like, Amy, look at that. That dude's wearing a full-on ski mask.
And what was he wearing it while he was talking to police?
Yes, that's the thing. He was standing out in this. He was in a gas station. They pulled him up. They pulled him over, and he ends up in a gas station, and he still got the full-on ski mask on.
I'm guessing they were telling him to take it off.
I don't know, but it was kind of funny. You know what I think needs to happen? Mount Juliet needs to start implementing tariffs on Nashville to help us pay for all these bad guys that we're arresting. And then we got to keep them in custody.
Yeah.
Another guy, this came up yesterday. An 18-year-old Nashville man is now in custody.
I have this story coming up in the 6 o'clock news, but this is crazy.
Are you
Go
talking
ahead.
about the guy that tried to run over a bunch of cops?
Yes.
Yes. Dude's 18 years old.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, he did the same thing. They didn't catch him. And now they finally caught him just out of nowhere. The police officer is at a traffic stop. And this dude, Sejoy P. Guha Perry, I probably shanked that, 18 of Nashville. And at the time, he was wearing at the time of his arrest, he was wearing a GPS ankle monitor while out on bond for involvement in a July 2024 shooting incident that happened at a Nashville apartment complex pool party, during which a 16-year-old girl was shot. So now you've got at least 7 guys in the last week
Wow.
coming to Mount Juliet and getting busted. It's like, guys, again, they're not the brightest people, but don't come to Mount Juliet because, you know what? In MJ, we actually appreciate law and order. And clearly you don't. You appreciate lawlessness and disorder. And so we're going to get you and we're going to throw you behind bars. That's what we're going to do.
So you're going to find them. You're going to get them one way or another. You're going to find them. You're going to get you.
Yeah, nobody needs that this morning, KGB.
Wow.
Does Dan even...
Yes, that's Blondie.
Okay. It looked like you didn't know what I meant at first.
No, it looks like I think you're being dumb. I'm totally kidding.
Have fun doing the show.
Speaking of which, did you guys see Morgan Wallen on Saturday Night Live?
Yes. I don't know what the big deal is.
Oh, it's a very big deal. So first of all, this is what I loved about Morgan Wallen on Saturday Night Live. Number one, he sounded really good, and this was at the end of his second song.
Praise the Lord and go balls, baby.
So he, praised the Lord and said, go Vols. The Vols needed help from the Lord, and they didn't get it, at least not enough. They got their butts kicked
on
against
Houston's
Houston. So, but then at the end of the night, in Saturday Night Live, right? We've got all the cast members and they're on stage. The host is saying her goodbyes.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you all.
At this point, Joan, Morgan Wallen just walks off the stage.
He hugs whoever it is that was also hosting with him.
Right.
I don't know who that was.
Neither.
And just walks off.
Is that not common?
No. I don't know if that's ever happened. You know what I think happened? And so people are making a big deal about it. They're saying Morgan Wallen stormed off the set.
Yeah.
He didn't storm off the set. You know what he did?
Stormed anything.
No, he just left.
Yeah.
And a little bit later on, I'm sure you saw this, Joan, where he posted a photo. I think it was either to his TikTok or his Instagram or whatever, but it was a photo of his private plane. And he said he couldn't wait to get back to God's country.
Yeah.
Getting the hell out of New York. You know what? I will tell you, as a guy that went to New York last year, I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah.
Like, I totally related. But you know what I think happened? I think what happened is they probably didn't treat him very nice.
Oh.
I think that's probably what happened. I think that he probably felt a little unwelcome. You know, when they do the teasers and the trailers?
Yeah.
There was only one that was really funny. They did, as far as I could tell, they did 3. In 2 of them, he literally just stood there while the other 2 attempted jokes.
Yeah.
This one, though, was funny. This is Morgan Wallen, the host of the show, who neither Joan and I know or care who she is, and one of the folks on Saturday Night Live. This was actually funny.
Hi, I'm Mikey Madison, and I'll be hosting SNL this week with Morgan Wallen. Springtime in New York. Don't you just love it? Oh, I know. Birds are chirping, bees are flying.
Rats are biting.
That's the Big Apple, baby. I'm drunk. Me too.
I wish I was.
I mean, you gotta love. You gotta love.
Oh, he was
Morgan
so
Wallen.
done already.
Yeah.
He did not want to be there from the start.
So I think what happened is he was made to feel unwelcome.
And that very end, when everybody's clapping and everybody's waving goodbye, it's very, they like to hug each other and say, you did a great job. You did a good job. Hey, I loved what you did.
Right.
It's that kind of patting each other on the back thing. And he was just not having any of it.
Well, if you'll notice, and then I'm going to move on, but if you'll notice that the entire cast is back a ways from Morgan Wallen.
Yes.
unusually so, from what I understand, because I don't watch Saturday Night Live, but it seemed unusually so that he and the host were out front and at the front of the stage, and everybody else was noticeably and perhaps purposely away from Morgan Wallen.
Huh.
And he's like, you know what? I'm out. See you later. And off you walk.
Yeah.
And you've got all these people who are Saturday Night Live fans who are saying that he disrespected the show. Can I tell you something, friends? And Amy and I were talking about this over the weekend. Morgan, do you know this, Joan? Morgan Wallen has, I think, out of the top 10 downloads, he's got like 8 or 9 of the top 10 downloads. Dude does not need Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, no.
And his music's actually good, too. It's not just, it's just up there.
Yeah,
it's
you're
actually
right.
very good.
I'm
You're right.
watching it right now, and I have to say, right after he hugs the female host, whom we don't know who she is, the camera actually pulls back a little, which gives him room to walk away and still stay in the frame of the camera. This looks purposeful to me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when he walks off the stage, he doesn't walk stage left or stage right.
He just walks right off.
Right
Well,
past
there's a
the
tunnel
camera.
right there. Behind the camera, there's a tunnel.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Like, that's
but
common.
he walked forward toward the crowd.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think it was
So-
planned? Maybe he was just like, as soon as I'm done, I want to go home.
That's what it looks like to me, because
Yeah, he
that
just wanted
camera
to go
back
home.
up
Yeah.
and gets him and keeps him in the shot as he's walking out.
He was DUN done.
Yeah.
And you know, to be honest with you, I don't blame him one bit. I mean, that is one of those things where because remember what happened the first time he was scheduled to be on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Do you remember this, Joan? Do you remember
No.
this, KGB? Where it was during COVID and he was supposed to be on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be like, I guess, quarantining or something before the appearance. And then video comes out of him playing guitar and singing to a small group of people and, oh, the whore, kissing on females right before he was supposed to go on to Saturday Night Live and fly out to New York. They canceled his appearance.
Oh, my
because he didn't maintain the social distancing at the time.
But Gavin Newsom, come on in.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he went in there. I think his agent told him that he should do this, and he did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he garnered any new fans, but I think right now on this Monday morning, you've got the Morgan Wallen fans like me who are saying, right on, loved you on Saturday Night Live. And then you have all the people that are aghast that, number one, he was on Saturday Night Live, and number two, that he disrespected the show by walking off.
Look,
and for me, whatever.
He's got tongues wagging. That's all he cares about.
That is.
That's
You're right.
it. He's got tongues wagging.
And how many people? Let's be honest, because I didn't watch a lot of the actual skits.
Yeah.
The ones that I did watch, as a matter of fact, I don't know if there was one that I was able to get all the way through, because I was just kind of curious. Okay, so is this show still funny at all? And I didn't really think there was one skit that was kind of funny, but I didn't watch the whole thing because I got bored. So
That show has not been funny for too long.
yeah.
Really
I
too
don't even
long.
know. Do people still watch it? That would be my question. Do people still watch Saturday Night Live? I don't even know.
People who are on the left tend to watch it.
It's definitely fallen off.
Yeah.
100%. I think the 90s where it's like Heyday with like
Oh,
Norm
no. The 90s, the 70s.
Norm Macdonald and Chris Farley. I mean,
70s. The first two seasons.
Should we pull this?
No, because nobody.
that's true.
Somebody called me a rhino on Facebook for actually admitting that I watched more.
2020 Saturday Night Live is a lot different than 90s and 70s Saturday Night Live. I mean, Norm Macdonald doing the weekend update on the OJ trial and talking about Hillary Clinton, that was peak comedy, in my opinion. He was hilarious.
Yes, but 1970s.
Was that the beginning?
Yeah, that was the beginning of
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live. You had John Belushi. You had Bill Murray.
The best.
You had Jane Curtin.
Yeah.
And the
Jane
difference.
Curtin.
Well,
and the
90s
di-
also had Will Ferrell when he was actually funny.
The difference, though, is that in the 70s, it was groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Will Ferrell and all those other people were on there, they'd already hit their stride. In the 70s, I don't believe nobody had ever done anything like Saturday Night Live before.
Second City TV was on then too, right?
I think it was, Joan.
What's Second City TV?
See, you
that
have to
Chicago?
be of the right age.
I remember Living Color was a thing.
No, that
that
was
was
in
with
the
like
80s.
Jim Carrey.
That was in the 80s. In Living Color was in the 80s. What'd you say?
In Living Color?
Who'd you say was in it?
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey. Oh, that's right. Jim Carrey was in Living Color.
That's where he like really became a star.
Hey, Joan, you know how you know you're getting old? When KGB says Jim Carrey and you thought that you heard John Kerry. Which clearly...
You mean the 2004
Yes.
Democratic presidential nominee?
Yes. Anyway, moving right along.
There's nothing democratic about him. He's a Democrat.
Fine.
Sorry.
Ooh, mic drop Joan.
5:52.